We're doing this today, just listen to it. Hello everybody, thanks for stopping by. Welcome back to the channel, KCR-Mark here. In today's video we're going to be taking a look at the Dodge Viper GTS from 2013. We're going to be doing a full build and tune on this car to 700 pp to take round the Le Mans World Touring Car 700. And what an absolutely stunning car this is. I really love these Vipers from this year. I think they look amazing, and it's fitted with this absolutely brutal 8.4 litre V10 engine, and as you saw from the intro, it sounds incredible. This is going to be a fairly simple build. It's a car that's available at any time. You don't need to buy any engine swap. It only requires a few parts to buy, and we're going to run through the complete build process from start to finish, and we end up with an absolute monster around the track, which is an absolute must-have in your garage for your money grinding events. So to start things off, we're going to have to buy the car, so we go to the American dealership at Brand Central, Dodge, and there's a couple of Vipers available. You want the GTS 2013. As you can see, a fairly cheap car, just 140,000 credits to buy. Next up, we're going to head to GT Autos, where we want to install the wide body kit, but don't touch the engine swap, we don't need that. Next up, we're going to car customization, where choose whichever wheels you prefer the look of. We're going to go for the biggest diameter, which I think are 20 and 21 inch. We want wide width and wide offset. Next to aero parts, so we want a Type A or Type B front splitter, whichever you prefer the look of. It's just a purely cosmetic addition on this car. I've gone for the Type A on this build. We want Type A side skirts, very important, just a standard rear diffuser. Heading onto the back wing, and unusually on this car, you can basically fit any of the wings, Type A, Type B or custom wing set. All do exactly the same downforce, don't change the PP at all, so again it's just a cosmetic thing, whichever you prefer the look of. Also on this car I've fitted a Type A roll cage, but that doesn't really affect anything too much. Moving swiftly onto the tuning parts, where we want to add weight reduction stage 1 and 2. We want the power restrictor. If there's any other parts on this screen that are showing purchase, just ignore them, they come with the car already. I'll just point out what you actually have to buy. So we want the fully customised LSD, I've gone a bit out of order here, weight reduction stage 3, and we want the fully customised manual transmission. We're not running a race transmission on this car. Next up, we want the racing silencer. We want racing brake pads and brake discs, fully customised suspension, racing clutch and flywheel, and weight reduction stage 4, and we want the racing hard tyres. Next up, we want to purchase the intermediate rain tyres. With this being Le Mans, you're obviously going to get a little bit of rain at some point, more than likely. Now the next addition, I've got weight reduction stage 5 on this car. Now I do know you need to be collector level 50 to purchase this, so if you're not collector level 50 yet, don't worry, it's no great problem. Just stick to weight reduction stage 4. It just means you can put a little bit more downforce on the car and still get to 700 pp. So the car all built up, we can head on to the tune itself. We're going to start off with the suspension differential settings. Now as standard, this car is fitted with absurdly fat back tyres, which I'll show you later, which in the dry means it's got absolutely tons of grip, but in the wet it really struggled. In testing I had lots of problems with this car. It had lots of power oversteer, lift off oversteer, and just generally really unstable. So what we've done, we've softened the back end of the car loads to get that car to squat down and put all its weight on the back. So we've got a softer anti-roll bar on the back, much softer springs. We've increased the toe-in on the back, and we've optimised the differential to cope with all that, and it works an absolute treat. This car is much better in the wet now. So moving on to the transmission, we're using the fully customised manual. I've kept the ratios as standard. I've just adjusted the top speed to 340 kilometers an hour. We have had to reduce the power a little bit to 92%, so we've ended up with a total of 605 brake horsepower, but it's absolutely plenty for this car, and it still retains quite a bit of fuel efficiency. You can get a bit more power out of the car, but you end up compromising the race, having to pit more times. In terms of aero, we've got the front set to 100 and the rear at 182. That's just to get to the right PP. As I said earlier in the build, if you are on level 4 weight reduction, you may be able to increase this a little bit just to tweak it to 700 PP. So now the car's all fully built, we can head to track. We're going to the World Touring Car 700 at Le Mans. Now straight off the bat, as you can see, I'm going to go into fuel map 6. There's a couple of different ways you can do this strategy wise. If you want to stay on the standard fuel map, the car will do 2 laps. I'm going for 3 laps, which I think is my preferred way of doing this Le Mans race. You usually get the rain coming in round about the end of lap 2, start of lap 3. Before we go any further, I just want to mention the noise of this car. I just think it sounds absolutely savage. It's just such a nice sounding car. As I mentioned earlier, this car as standard is fitted with absolutely enormously fat tyres, which we'll have a look at in a second, but it really helps with the grip in the dry. This thing is absolutely glued to the track. It's got so much grip. Pretty quick top speed as well. You're looking at just under 190 miles an hour on fuel map 6. On fuel map 1 it'll be touching 200 miles an hour, so a very quick car. So on the dry track you should have no problems with this car. It performs really well, it's great fun to drive. With that fuel map 6 strategy, we've come to the end of lap 3 with plenty of fuel. Like I say, if you're using fuel map 1, you'll be doing this pit stop at the end of lap 2, but just have the weather open just to keep an eye on it and just play it by ear as to what tyres you need to use. As you see, we've got a little bit of raining coming on the radar, so I've gone for intermediate tyres. And as promised, we're going to take a sneaky peek at the rear tyres. Just look at the size of them things, they're absolutely ridiculous. So head a little bit further into a race, and as you can see with the weather radar, the intermediates is definitely a good idea. I've got some horrendous weather during this race, but it did give me a good opportunity to test the wet weather capabilities of this car. I would say this was previously the car's Achilles heel. It was extremely hard to drive in the rain before, but with lots of testing and tuning, we've got this tuned really nice in the rain. It behaves really well. I would advise going on traction control 2 during the rain, because it has got a huge amount of torque and power out the corner, so you've got to be a bit careful on the throttle, but other than that it's absolutely fine. So we'll skip ahead to the end of lap 6, where on this strategy you'll need to do your final pit stop. This is just going to be a quick splash and dash. We only need to do 1 lap after this. So with this strategy, just a 1 lap sprint to the end of the race. We haven't got to concern ourselves with fuel economy, so we can go onto fuel map 1 and just really let this car rip and see what it can do. So we'll skip ahead to the end of the race now. As you can see, a pretty massive winning margin, nearly 2 minutes by the end of the race. Really good car in the dry, huge amount of fun. Like I say, just exercise a little bit of caution in the wet, just be gentle on that throttle and use traction control if needs be. So across the line with an absolute massive lead. 4:04 is my fastest lap, but not really good indication of the car. Just had horrendous weather the whole race, but you should have a pretty comfortable victory, and with that clean race bonus, which you nearly always get at Le Mans, you'll be getting your 825,000 credits, so that'll be 1.65 million in just an hour. So that just leaves me to say a massive thank you for stopping by. Really hope you enjoyed the tune and had fun with this amazing car. As always, I'll put the fastest lap at the end of the video, but in the meantime, many thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers, bye.